Hello guys, today I'm here with the same topic probability. I'll be taking few more questions on this particular topic and the question which I have taken today, it's all on the demand of you guys basically. So let's see what all questions we are going to solve. Okay, so the first question that we are taking today is based on the coins. The question says two coins are tossed. Find the probability of getting no heads, two tails, and at least one head. But before we start solving the question, let's understand what the sample space is. The sample space is nothing but all the possibilities that we will have when two coins are tossed simultaneously. So S is equal to, what are the possibilities? On both the coins, I can have head and head. I have head and tail head, and then I can have tail and tail. So total of 4 possibilities that I have. So I can say n of s is equal to 4. Now what is probability? So P of E, probability of happening of event. And what are my events? No head is an event. Two tails is an event. At least one head is also an event. So probability of happening of any event is equal to n of E upon n of S, which is nothing but number of favorable events upon total number of events. So let's take the first question. I don't want any head. So probability of no head. So there is only one option, that is tail and tail. Probability of not getting any head is only tail and tail, which is occurring only once. So I will have the probability as 1 by 4. And what is the case that I have taken? Tail and tail. Second case, probability of getting two tails. Again the probability is 1 by 4 because I am taking T and T. Third one, at least one head. At least means minimum of one. So that can be expressed in the inequality format as greater than equal to 1 H. What are the possibilities that we will have? I want one or more than one. So it is HT, TH and HH. So total number of favorable cases that we have is 3, and hence the probability is going to be equal to 3 by 4. Let's take the second question. Now it is based on 3 coins. It says 3 coins are tossed simultaneously. Find the probability of getting 2 heads, at least 1 head, and at most 1 head. So before we start solving the question, again we'll have to write on the sample space. Sample space. So how do I write the sample space? See how many total number of sample space we'll have. Please understand, when 2 coins are thrown, it was 2 raised to 2. Sorry, it's when 3 coins are being tossed, it is 2 raised to 3. That is total of 8 sample spaces we'll have. When 2 coins were being thrown, it was 2 raised to 2, that was 4. And when a single coin is being thrown, it is equal to 2. As we are throwing 3 coins, so total number of sample spaces that we are going to have is 8. But how do I write it? Let's see a simple trick. First of all, write down the sample space when you are going to throw 2 coins, that is HH, HT, TH and TT. Now I'm just going to prefix H everywhere. So HHH, HHT, HTH, HTT. So 4 sample space we have. We want another 4. What I'm going to do is, next 4 is just by replacing H with T and T with H. So I'm going to get TTT, TTH, THT and THH. So we have n of s is equal to 8. This is fine. It's very simple to remember. Otherwise, if you're writing in any order, you will have tough time remembering that what all cases you have missed out. So this is a simple way to write down the sample space when 3 coins are being tossed. The first one, probability of getting 2 heads. Let's write down what all possibilities we'll have now. So we can have the possibility as HST, HTH, then THH. I'm looking for the cases where I'm getting only 2 heads, HHT, HTH, and then we have THH. Means n of E is equal to 3. Therefore, what do I get as a probability of getting 2 heads, which is equal to n of E upon n of S, which is equal to 3/8. Okay. Next part, I want at least one. At least means I want greater than equal to 1 head. So what all cases will have greater than equal to 1? It means I want h equal to 1 or h equal to 2 or h equal to 3. What does it mean? I don't want any tail. I don't want any tail. So out of the 8 possibilities that we have, only one possibility is not getting satisfied, and that is TTT. Means I'm looking for except all tails. Fine. It means what is the answer? It is nothing but 1/8. But in what way can I write it as? In the probability form, I can write it as 1 minus probability of no head, which is nothing but 1 minus 1/8, which is equal to 7/8. Fine. So this 1/8 is the probability of getting all tails. 1/8 is probability of getting all tails. So this is what I have subtracted from 1. Why I have subtracted from 1? Because we know the total probability is equal to 1. Okay. Third part. At most 1 head. So what do you mean by at most 1 head? At most means maximum of 1 I'm looking for. I'm looking for maximum of 1 head. This implies that it is less than equal to 1. Less than equal to 1 head. So what all possibilities we'll have? The possibility that we are going to have is HTT, then TTH, THT. This is where we have at least one, at most 1 head. But I'll have to consider TTT also. At most 1 head means no head or 1 head. Therefore, probability of less than equal to 1h, total number of cases that we have is equal to 4, and hence the probability is 4/8. Hope this is clear. At most and at least. When I say at most, it means it is less than equal to. At least means it is greater than equal to. So when it was at least 1 head, it means 1 or more than 1 head. When it is at most, means it is 1 or less than 1 head. Be very specific with this particular concept of at least and at most. Okay, so the third question. 2 dice are rolled. Find the probability that some of the numbers appearing on the uppermost face of the dice is sum of the numbers or sum of the numbers appearing on the uppermost face of the dice. I'll just correct the question. Okay. So what would be the sample space? Sample space, total number of sample space we'll have is 36. You can see in the diagram the image that I have posted over here. That is, first die I can have 1 1, second dice is 1, first dice is 1, second dice is 2, first is 1, second is 3, and so on, and finally on both the dice I have number 6 and 6. So what we have got over here is a matrix of order 6 by 6, that is total of 6 rows and 6 columns, and the total number of sample space is 36. First line, when I'm getting number 1 on both the die, that is 1 comma 1, the sum appearing is 2. Whereas 6 comma 6, the sum gives me 12. Means what? The minimum sum possible is 2 and maximum sum possible is 12. I repeat, minimum sum is 12 and maximum sum is 12. 2 and 12. So we'll have the sum as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So let's understand how the question goes. First thing you are being asked is divisible by 3. So how do I find the question divisible by 3? So let's understand what all numbers that we have which are divisible by 3. Okay. First one. So what are the numbers which are divisible by 3? The numbers which are divisible by 3 is 3, 6, 9 and 12. What are the possibilities or what are the ways in which I can get the sum as 3? So it is 1, comma 2 and 2, comma 1. What about 6? It will be 1, comma 5, 2, comma 4, 3, comma 2, 4, comma it's 3, comma 3, 4, comma 2 and 5, comma 1. Just observe the pattern. The number which is on to the left side, I am increasing by 1. The number to the right, I am decreasing by 1. For 9, I am getting as 3, comma 6. Then 4, comma 5, 5, comma 4 and 6, comma 3. And for 12, I am getting only one possibility, that is 6 and 6. So what is N of E? What is the total number of favorable events? For 3 I have 2. For 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 4 and this is 1. So total number of favorable events is how many? 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 2 is 12. So N of E is 12. Therefore, probability of getting a number which is divisible by 3 is equal to 12 upon 36. It is 12 upon 36. Let's go to the next part. I want the number which is divisible by 4. Second part. So what are the numbers divisible by 4? It is 4, 8 and 12. What are the ways in which I can get the sum as 4? So it is 1, comma 3, 2, comma 2 and 3, comma 1. What about 8? It is 2, comma 6, 3, 5, 4, 4, 5, 3, 6, 2. And 12, I have only one possibility, that is 6, comma 6. So total number of ways in which I can get the sum as 4 is 3. I can get the sum as 8 is 5 and 12 is 1. Therefore, N of E is equal to 5 plus 3 8 plus 1 9. And hence, probability of getting a number which is divisible by 4 is equal to 9 by 12. That is N of E upon N of S. Okay. Let's see the third part. Third part says I want the sum to be divisible by 3 or 4. Divisible by 3 or 4. So how do I approach this particular question? Okay. So let me write down. It is or means the number or the sum should be divisible by 3. It can be divisible by 4 or it can be divisible by both. Fine. So what are the numbers which are divisible by 3 or 4, or what is common number between two? So I have only 12 which is common, means it is divisible by 3 also and it is divisible by 4 also, which is to be written only once. So let's write down. It's 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 and 8. 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 and 8. Fine. What are the number of ways in which I can get the sum? This is sum and there are number of ways. So I can get 3 in 2 ways, 6 in 5, 9 in 4, 12, this is 12 in 1 way, 4 I can get it in 3 way and 8 I can get in 5 way. So total number of ways in which I can get the sum to be divisible by 3 or 4 is 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 4 is 11, plus 1 12, plus 3 15, 15 plus 5 is 20. So there are 20 ways in which I can get the sum which is divisible by 3 or 4. Okay. So I can write the probability as, therefore probability of sum which is divisible by 3 or 4 means it is 20 by 36. Student, there are many approaches to solve this question. I'll take one more approach to make you understand what is the another way to solve this particular question. I'm trying to get back to 8th standard or 7th standard of yours, wherein we had studied the concept of set theory. So what we had studied over there is n of A union B is equal to n of A plus n of B minus n of A intersection B. Intersection means which is common to both. Now I can write down in the probability form P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B, where probability of A denotes the sum of the number should be divisible by 3. B denotes the sum of the number should be divisible by 4 only, and A intersection B, that is, it denotes the sum which is divisible by 3 and 4 both. Right? 3 and 4 both. So let's understand what are the ways in which I can get to the probability of the number which is divisible by 3. So we had got it as 12 by 36. 12 by 36 plus 9 by 36. Minus, there is only one number, that is 12, which is getting divisible by 3 and 4 both, so it is 1 by 36. That gives me answer as 20 by 36. So this is another approach of solving the question. Students, please note, just by mistake I had written probability of the numbers divisible by 4 as 9 by 12. There is a correction, it should be 9 by 36 because the total of sample space is 36. Fine. Coming to the last part of the question, it says, sorry, there is one more, divisible by 3 and 4. divisible by 3 and 4. Okay, so already we have calculated, still I'll write it down. Probability of the number which is divisible by 3 and 4. So basically I'm talking about the intersection, which is nothing but number 12, and hence it is 1 by 36. Next part of the question is, it is a perfect square. Probability of getting the sum of the numbers as perfect square. So what is perfect square? Whose square root is possible. So what are the perfect square numbers that we have over here? The sum should be perfect square. So the sum should be perfect square. The numbers which we have is 4, 9, that's it. 16, I cannot go ahead. So I have only sum possible as 4 and 9. So in what way can I get the sum as 4 and in what way can I get the sum as 9? So it is only one possibility. The possibility is 1, 3, 2, 2 and 3, 1. So total of 3 ways in which I can get the sum as 4. For 9 it is 3, 6, 4, 5, 5, 4 and 6, 3. So total of 4 ways I have in which I can get the sum as 9. Okay, so what is the probability of getting the sum as perfect square? Therefore, probability of getting the sum as perfect square, which is equal to 4 plus 3, 7 upon 36. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so the next question is, 2 cards are drawn from a pack of 52 cards. Find the probability that the card drawn are king or queen, king and queen, hard cards, red cards, face card. Now, whatever question that we have done so far, it was all about 1. Now, when we are moving on to drawing of the 2 cards, now we'll have to look for in a different way. We'll have to look for the different combinations of drawing 2 cards. So for that, we need to understand the concept of combination. What is the concept of combination? It is NCR. What does NCR means? From N, I am drawing R. That is selection of R items from the total of N items. So what is the formula for this? It is N factorial upon N minus R factorial into R factorial. Let's take an example. I want to draw 2 items, or let's say 2 balls from a pack of 5 balls. So how do I do it? If I'm comparing with this, the value of N is 5 and the value of R is 2. So let's substitute the value and get it. It's 5 factorial upon 5 minus 2 factorial into 2 factorial. But what do you mean by factorial? It's basically the countdown of the numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 upon 5 minus 2 is 3 factorial, which can be written as 3 into 2 into 1. 2 factorial is 2 into 1. So this 3 to 1 gets cancelled, 2 to the 4 gets cancelled. So total number of 10 ways are there. But there is a shortcut. Whenever I have this number as 2, this number is 2. So another way of solving is, so I'm just giving the formula for NC2. It is nothing but N into N minus 1 upon 2. Let's verify if I'm getting the same answer or not. So 5C2 is nothing but 5 into 4 upon 2. 5 4s are 20, divided by 2 is 10. So this we can use, or this particular concept we are going to use whenever I'm drawing 2 from N. So it's N into N minus 1 upon 2. As our question is based on drawing of 2 cards, so this formula is going to be very much beneficial for us. Fine. So let's understand the deck of cards. We have 52 cards in all, out of which red are 26 and black are also 26. Equally divided between hearts and diamonds, 13 each. Same thing happens for the spade and club. So spade is also 13 and club is also 13. Now these numbers, what you are able to see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they are called as numbered card. Then king, queen and jack, they are called as face card or picture cards. And ace is all around. So when I'm counting the total number of picture cards, I'm getting it as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. That is total of 12 picture cards I have. Number cards are 9 picture cards, 9 of one type I'm talking, 9 of hearts, 9 of diamonds, 9 of spade, 9 of club. So total number of picture cards we have is 36. I repeat, total number of picture cards we have is 12, total number of numbered cards is 36, and total number of aces that we have is 4. So I'll write it down over here. Number cards is equal to 9 into 4, which is equal to 36. Face card is equal to 3 into 4, which is equal to 12, and ace we have is 4. That gives me total of 52. Fine. So let's come to the first question. I want king or queen. What do I want? King or queen. So how many kings and how many queens we have? Okay, let's take the first question. We want king or queen. I want king or queen. So how many kings we have? 4. How many queens we have? 4. So out of these, the condition is I can have king, I can have queen, I can have both. Fine. So the first question will be probability of getting king or queen. Total number of king and queen cards is 8. So it is 8c2 upon the total number of cards in a pack is 52, out of which I am drawing 2 cards. So it is 8c2 upon 52c2. Now if you want to solve, it becomes 8 into 7 upon 2. The method I have given, upon 52 into 51 upon 2. Fine. So what is 8 into 7 by 2? 8 7 ja 56. Divide by 2, that gives me as 28. Similarly, this 2 and 52 will get cancelled. That is 26 times. So it is 26 into 51. That gives me 1326. If you want, you can reduce it further. Otherwise, you can leave it as it is. B part. I want heart cards. So total number of hearts that we have in a pack is 13. So it is 13c2 upon 52c2. Please understand the denominator, which is equal to 1326, will remain constant. It is going to be same. So I have to solve only the numerator part, which is nothing but 13 into 12 upon 2 upon 1326. 13 6 are 78 upon 1326. Next part is I want red cards. Okay, so how many red cards we have? The total number of red cards that we have in a pack is 26. So probability of getting red cards is equal to, it's 26c2 upon 52c2. Red cards is 26, 13 of the hearts, 13 of the diamond, which is equal to 26 into 25 upon 2 divided by 1326. So how much do I get? 26 divided by 2 is 13. So it's 25 into 13. It's 325. So it's 325 upon 1326. Fine. And the last part of the question is, I want face cards. The total number of face cards that we have in the pack is 12. So it is 12C2 upon 52C2. On simplification, I get it as 12 into 11 upon 2 divided by 1326, which is equal to 66 upon 1326. I'm sure you would have understood all the questions that we have solved. It was one question we have taken based on playing cards. Other question that we have discussed today is based on throwing of the 2 dice, and then it was based on throwing 3 coins, and the first question for the day was throwing 2 coins. So we have taken 4 questions, 2 on the coins, 1 question on the dice, and 1 question on the playing cards. If you have understood, then please do like, put a comment. If you want any other question to be solved, you can put it in the comment box. Your appreciation matters a lot, and your appreciation will be in forms of liking the video, subscribing to the channel. So please do like, share and subscribe. I'm sure it's going to be useful for any student who is having probability, so you can share with your friends across anywhere. Right? So next video that I'm going to come up is based on another topic of statistics, that is decision theory. Very interesting topic. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.